Good morning, guys. I am here to report about our topic, UX design. So, what is a UX design? So, from the acronym UX, we have user experience. So, user experience design is the process design teams use to create products that provide meaningful and relevant experiences to users. This involves the design of the entire process of acquiring and integrating the product, including aspects of branding, design, usability, and function. So Donald Norman, a cognitive scientist, joined the team at Apple in the early 90s as their user experience architect, making him the first person to have UX in his job title. He came up with the term UX design as a way of encompassing all that UX is. So Don Norman said that he invented the term because he thought human interface and usability were too narrow. So he wanted to cover all aspects of the person's experience with a system, including industrial design, graphics, the interface, the physical interaction, and the manual. So it's like he's the creator of the UX design. So here we have the 7 factors to describe a user experience design. So first factor is useful, provides a purpose for its target customers. So you need to have a purpose for your customers to want your design. So it's usable. Second factor is usable. So we need to enable users to effectively and efficiently achieve their end objective. Third is findable. Ensure the product and its contents are easy to find. Credible. Ability to trust the product. Fifth, desirable. Conveyed through branding, image, identity, aesthetics, and emotional design. So if you have a product, you need, it needs to be desirable for the target customers to want it. So six is accessible. Provides a user experience which can be accessed by the users of a full range of abilities. And lastly is valuable. Delivers value to the business and to the customers. So we need to have value in our product so that it can attract and it has good quality for the customers. The next slide. So this is the process of the UX design. How we do UX and the design. So first process is the analysis. We need to find who is the user, what is their need, and how does this work with our back-end system. So we need to analyze our target customers to know what they need and how they will react with the product. And the second process is ideation. So we should know, and the customer should know how could this work and how could this look. We need to like we need to know how our design would work and how it will look. So third is the user testing. We need to test the product like it's a beta test of the game. So how does it work? Is it the right design? And can we make it better to attract more people on our design? So fourth is their choice. Which design best satisfies our users' needs? And fifth is getting it ready. So our behavior is explained, our virtual design is known, It is tested by the users and is approved by the PO. Next. So here is the bad example of UX design. So here the first, as shown in the first picture, it has a pull word in the middle of the door, and yet there isn't a pulley to pull the door, right? It's like a sliding door, so it's not pull. You shouldn't put the pull there. And in the second picture, you can see that the numbers of an elevator is in complete disarray. So it really gives the target customers really bad feedback, because as you can see, it is in a complete disarray. The numbers of what floor you're going to. So next slide. So these are the types of UX design. First, we have the UI designers, the user interface designer. So user interface is designed for machines and software with the focus on maximizing the user experience. These specialized graphic designers are mainly concerned with how web pages and application screen looks overall. They focus on purely visual aspects. Look for skills in Photoshop, Fireworks, Illustrator. These UI designers will be delivering the things like mock-ups and visual assets like buttons and banners. Second is the user interface developers. So the developers, on the other hand, create, maintain, and troubleshoot scripts and code that makes web pages or applications function correctly. They combine design sense with technical skills and have production skills, which enables them to produce designs in Photoshop and then turn them into a code. A UI developer is primarily delivering things like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So in the in the UI designers, they design on how the web page looks and how the application screens look overall. While the user interface developers, they they code they use the design and code on how the web pages will work. So they use codes like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So so the third is in IA, information architects. Information architecture is the art and science of developing structures of organization to present data and information. They help turn business and technical requirements into planning documents and creating things like sitemaps, wireframes, user flow diagrams, and customer journey. So these guys are assigned in planning documents, create things like sitemaps. So we have the user experience designers. They combine research and design skills to understand what the end user needs and present solutions and design users want to use. And we have the UX architects. So if the information architects is the map, user experience architects is the terrain. UX architects act as a team, leads, and often participate in content development, social media for their projects. They provide proactive UX expertise and evangelism to their project teams. So next is we have the UX developers. So UX developers provide skills and activities listed above while managing and owning the actual coding and development of the site. Usually when you see this term, you should have a conversation with the client and determine the size and scope of the project, how many individuals are actually needed, and which specific specialized skill will best suit their needs. And next, we have the user researchers. These people are trained professionals who focus solely on the end users of the software or website. They'll often survey, observe, and interview potential users before the solution is ever created. They evaluate early solution concepts to identify strengths, weaknesses, precedents, and potential, and test out these concepts with users throughout the development process. So next we have the PMs, the project managers. The project managers specializing in UX are highly organized and coordinate communications, schedules, budgets, and resources for individual projects. And lastly, we have the IXDs, the interaction designers. They specialize in what happens when the end user taps their mobile device, clicks their mouse, or enters data, which makes the display change or move. They deliver diagrams, navigation, flow charts, and even prototypes of Flash content. So these interaction designers, they are assigned when how the whole app works or how the web page works. Like they know if you click a certain button in a web page, they know where it will go, and when you click on another button on that certain web page, they know where will it go next, and so on and so on. So it's like a flow chart. So the 6 steps in UX design process. So first, instead of research on Google, do research from user. This is the very first steps that any design process will need. Start thinking about your users. Who are they? Where are they from? Where can you find them? Take a look at all the requirements and list out the questions about things that is still in doubt, even things that you are sure about, then give it to the users. Second is build user persona grade. So now you get some first data about your users, what they need, what they expect. So the next step is to summarize those users into a user persona. You may get 2, 3, or more personas from what you collected, but wait, what is a persona? Wait. So personas are fictional characters created to represent the different user types that might use a site, brand, or product in a similar way. The purpose of a persona is to create reliable and realistic representation of your key audience segments. For reference, these 2 sentences can simply explain what persona is and why we need a persona. We will build our product based on those personas, creating solutions for the needs of those people, our targeted users. So the third, we create user stories, user scenarios, scenario maps, and site maps. Now is the time to bring in the team. We had personas, we have user insights. Let's get the party started. The reason to let the team in, team, our team should include a virtual designer, a UI designer, probably any designers, product managers, the VPs, developers, QA also can join at this stage, is to give them a chance for everyone to understand the products at the very beginning. Everyone owns the products, not only PMs. You may think it does not need to do this at this stage because it will take a lot of time. But it's just not that much of time later on when when you are in design phase and some project manager suddenly asks a random questions about why we go with that color. To prevent confusion and to make sure everyone is clear about what we build and what is our goal, we always need to include people from the early step. So fourth step, start creating wireframes and interaction prototypes. Now comes the most fun part from our sides. The more UX design things, nothing better than something that give everyone a first visual impression about the products. Many designers like to do high fidelity wireframes, but in my process, let's stick to the lo-fi first. Reason is you don't want to spend so much time on drawing, but to spend more time on exploring the designs. Wireframes help you to do that. Don't think too much about the pixels, how big or small the text. You just want to explore different design approaches and see what is the best solution. So fifth, UI, visual design and deliver. Once done with the wireframes, prototypes, and UI guys start doing the rest of the jobs. However, this UI part is quite complicated to get it right. Reason is some startups are not trying to do much works at their first or beta release, but later on, the UX and the UI need to stay very close with each other. UI is about beauty. UX sometimes has different approach. So the two needs to agree on each other, be strict on colors, spacing, paddings, font size. What we often did is to create a UI style guide, a good way to keep consistency of designs. So 6, metrics analysis. So finally, developers finished the first version of our awesome application. Let's roll out the users. Here comes our important part of the job. Validate the design. We need to use analytical tools to track how users use our product, how they interact, can they get the goal that we want them to. If not, what is wrong? For big UX team, they always have a UX researcher who will do this work. Their task is to test new designs, analyze all the data from the users using our products, then give the solutions recommendation to improve the function. Design. So user flows in user experience design. So there are many different pathways a user can take when interacting with a product. A user flow is a visual presentation, either written out or made digitally. A flowchart is an example. The flowchart begins with the consumer's entry point on the product, like an onboarding screen or homepage, and ends with a final action or outcome, like purchasing a product or signing up for an account. Each touch point on the user's journey is represented by a node in the flowchart. These nodes characterized by shape and indicates a particular process. For instance, a diamond means decision is being made when therefore followed by yes and no arrows. A rectangle indicates a task or action that needs to be taken like log in or purchase. So here is an example of a flowchart. So entry, first entry, welcome, select task, and we have a question number 1. So if correct, we go to details. So if not, so if it's correct, so we go back to select task. And next is details. Go find and search our items. If the web page has no such item, so we go to no items found. So if we have an item, we go to item found, we ordered it and close the application. Done. So we have so next we have our types of user flow charts. So task flow. They generally show only one path and don't include multiple branches or pathways like a traditional user flow might. They're best used when the task being analyzed is accomplished similarly by all users. So we have entry, action, and success. So wireflows. Wireflows are a combination of wireframes and flowcharts. They utilize the layout of individual screens as elements within the diagram. Wireframes on their own help convey the layout and design of each individual page, but lack the ability to communicate the page-to-page flow of heavily dynamic interfaces. So we have the user flows. User flows focus on the way our target audience will interact with the product. They're typically attached to a specific persona and entry point. Therefore, when using this type of flowchart, you may have many different scenarios that start at different places. So next, we have the user scenarios. User scenarios help you understand what your user persona and how they interact with your product. User scenarios help you understand your user and how they interact with your product. This post will show you how to bring scenarios into your framing process. Designers need to understand their users if they want to make products that people will use. By understanding them, you can help create solutions that help them achieve your goals. And when users are able to achieve your goals, they will want to use your product again. So what does a user scenario look like? So here it's like so as you can see, the scenario shows the user flow. Your user takes through your product. This is really useful for designers to understand and use because they can spark ideas, generate future, and help refine any requirement going forward. So as you can see in the diagram, you can see it's like a flow chart. So it's like, but it's much more complicated. But if you follow the pattern, it's still the same. You the cashier will accept the payment, pay for food, and tells the waiter to receive the order food, and confirm the order. The chef will cook the food. And next, see, so that's how it. That's how a user scenario look. So the user scenarios, advantages and benefits. User scenarios are a helpful way for designers to approach users in an structured way, similar to other methods such as the design thinking model. With user scenarios, designers are forced to put themselves in the shoes of users to try to understand what drives them. So the user designers are forced to put themselves in the shoes of the users so that they can understand what drives them. Like they they put their shoes in the customers, like they want to become the customer, so they can know what will happen in the whole scenario. They know what will happen about the whole flowchart. So that's the end of our report about the UX design, and I hope that you all understand about all of this. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you.